The fantasy story begins by introducing a boy named Den, who has been experiencing strange visions for some time. In these visions, he imagines an unknown girl who keeps calling him towards her. Her entire body glows, and it seems like she possesses supernatural powers. But then, within his dreams, tries desperately to go towards this lady, but as soon as he reaches her, the girl disappears. These recurring visions begin to disturb him, and he starts waking up from his sleep, still unsure of why he's having these dreams suddenly. Den lives in a city that lacks many facilities, and so he hopes to move away in the coming years. It is revealed that some time ago, Den's mother passed away, and he used to visit her grave daily to pray for her. For now, Den stays with his father, who, grieving the loss of his wife, hardly ever leaves the house. His father has been unable to cope with the grief, and as a result, Den's aunt, Emma, takes care of the housework and looks after him. Next, we see Den at school, where a girl is eager to get into a relationship with him. She often tries to get closer to him, but Den isn't interested in her and refuses her advances. The girl takes it badly, but Den's priorities are simple: he will do what feels right to him. One day, during class, when the teacher is instructing the students, she introduces a new student to the class. The new girl is named Lena, and she belongs to a family known for practicing dark magic. The other students start whispering about Lena, some saying her family is deeply involved in black magic, which makes everyone feel a little uneasy around her. However, Lena shuts down these rumors with her words, and despite everything, Den doesn't believe in these stories. He decides to trust only what he has experienced. Later, Den is driving home in his car, and it starts raining heavily. As he drives along the road, suddenly, he comes across a car parked in front of him. It's Lena's car, and she stops him to ask for help. Den offers her a ride and agrees to drop her off at her home. After a while, the rain stops, but Den finds himself in a part of town where a large crowd has gathered. When he asks his friends, he learns that this particular spot has been struck by lightning continuously at the same intensity, and people have been gathering there to witness it. This all seemed very strange to everyone. The students began whispering that ever since Lena transferred to their school, these bizarre occurrences had been happening. They speculated that there must be some connection between these events and Lena. Hearing this, Den began to think more seriously about the situation. Later, we are shown another scene at school where their class teacher was presenting something. She had brought a book for the class, a book that was completely banned. It was a book from the Ravenwood family, containing all the details about their black magic and demonic practices. However, many students were against this book because their parents had warned them not to read it, being devout believers in God. These students started advising others not to read the book either. At the same time, the two girls, who had been discussing the book, began holding hands and praying to God. The constant recitation of words in the prayer started to agitate Lena, and she became very angry. Suddenly, there was an explosion in all the mirrors, causing them to shatter. Den and the other girls saw this, and then started to realize that Lena might be a witch, and that she had done all this in anger. He knew he needed to learn more about her, so after the class, he set out to visit Lena's large mansion, which was located in the middle of a forest. The place looked like a ruin, but then still ventured inside. As he walked through the mansion, he found no one there. Eventually, he did find Lena sitting alone. He approached her to talk, but just then, Lena's uncle, Mike, arrived. Seeing Den with Lena, Mike invited both of them inside. Uncle Mike began talking to Den and asked him about his future. For some unknown reason, Den started revealing everything about his personal life, including his future plans. He told Mike about his goals and what he intended to do. After a while, it became clear that Uncle Mike had used some kind of magic on Den, causing him to reveal all his plans and thoughts. Among these revelations, Den also confessed that, in some way, he liked Lena. After a short while, Den realized that his mind had been tampered with, and soon after, Uncle Mike ordered him to leave and go home. Mike scolded Lena, telling her that even though she lived here, she couldn't make friends with ordinary people. He mentioned that he had placed strong magical protections around the mansion to keep any strangers away. Lena would also have to be extremely cautious. Lena then noticed that Den hadn't left yet. He was holding a pendant that he had found in the garden earlier. He wanted to give it to her, so he called her downstairs. Lena quickly made her way to him, and as soon as he handed her the pendant, their hands touched. In that instant, both of them started experiencing visions. In the visions, they saw that they had known each other before and had once lived together. But during a battle, they had both died, and they were separated forever. Suddenly, Den opened his eyes and found himself in his bed, with the pendant still in his hand. He began to think it was just a scary dream. So, he went straight to his aunt, Emma, and asked how he ended up there. Emma explained that he had been sleeping outside the house, and she had brought him inside, assuming that he had drunk too much. Then told Emma everything about the strange dream, showing her the pendant in his hand. Emma suggested that he should return the pendant to where he had found it. So, then took the pendant and headed straight to the mansion where Lena lived. As he entered the gate and walked inside, he was shocked to realize he kept ending up in the same place. After a while, he noticed the large tree roots around him began to move and wrap around his body. It seemed as if the roots were trying to trap him, and it looked like he was losing his strength and about to take his last breath. Just then, Lena arrived and used her powers to remove the roots from his body. Seeing then in such bad condition, she took him inside the mansion to rest. When then regained consciousness, he asked Lena about her powers, wondering if she was some dangerous witch with dark energies. Lena explained that her Ravenwood family belonged to a different line of magicians, and while they weren't dangerous like some others, they did possess powers. She further explained that her uncle had intentionally cast magic around the entire area to prevent any magician or ordinary person from coming near, ensuring her safety. Curious, then asked Lena what kind of powers she had. In response, Lena demonstrated by turning the sky into a stunning display, with beautiful poems written all around it, showing just how powerful her abilities were. Then began to believe that Lena must also love him, as their connection deepened. They started meeting regularly, and their bond grew stronger. Eventually, they entered into a relationship, both feeling incredibly happy together. Lena confided in then that before they met, she had experienced visions in which she already knew they would end up together, and she found this moment to be very special. Meanwhile, Uncle Mike visited Emma to discuss something important about then. Emma, concerned, warned Mike that he shouldn't have allowed Lena to get close to him, as it could put her life in danger. Mike revealed that a dark, dangerous spirit was after Lena, intending to kill her and absorb her powers. This was the reason Mike had been protecting Lena so fiercely and kept her from getting close to anyone. Back at the school, parents were petitioning to have Lena expelled, claiming she was too different. After a tense discussion, Mike arrived and firmly stated that Lena couldn't be expelled, as over 70% of the land in the city belonged to the Ravenwood family, including the school. If the Ravenwood family wanted, they could reclaim all the land. Mike also justified the incident at school, explaining that the lightning strike near the school had caused the mirrors to shatter, and that Lena had nothing to do with it. Suddenly, a woman named Natalie appeared at the school. She was none other than Lena's sister and also had powerful abilities. She went directly to Then and invited him to dinner at her house. Though Then had many questions, Natalie used her magic to cast spells and temporarily silenced him. She then transported him to her mansion, where her family resided. Even though Then couldn't speak, he was curious about the family dynamic. Once inside, he learned that the entire family despised Natalie because she was considered a dark witch, wielding black magic for nefarious purposes. In the Ravenwood family, every girl was given a chance to choose her powers when she turned 17. If her heart was pure, she would receive good powers, but if there was even a hint of darkness in her heart, she would receive dark powers. This was the cause of tension within the family, and it became clear that Natalie had chosen the darker path. Then realized that Natalie had chosen the path of dark magic, and it all depended on the individual whether they wanted to choose a path of good or evil. However, it was clear that Natalie had embraced the dark side. Lena, still waiting to turn 17, had not yet chosen her powers. Meanwhile, Natalie continued to control Then and left the room, heading to the dining table, where she began criticizing Lena for loving a human, someone who would never be on their level. Even Uncle Mike tried to reason with Natalie, urging her to stop casting spells on Then, but she refused. In anger, she began torturing Then. This enraged Lena, and she used her powers to create a storm. The dining table was lifted into the air, and in a fit of fury, she threw Natalie outside. Then, badly injured from the whole ordeal, fell unconscious. Lena did everything she could to save him, carefully treating his injuries. Later, as Then and Lena rested, Emma and Mike explained more about Lena's family curse. Emma told a story from many years ago when Lena's great-grandmother had broken a critical rule. She had married a human and lived with him, but this led to serious consequences. Her husband's health deteriorated drastically. In a fit of anger, Lena's great-grandmother transferred all her good powers to him in an effort to save him. However, after the good powers left, only dark magic remained inside him. This curse had since passed down to the next generations of women in the family, including Lena. Now, it seemed certain that when Lena turned 17, she would inherit dark powers, becoming a woman consumed by darkness. Uncle Mike urged Lena to stay away from Then, explaining that they could no longer be together. Lena was heartbroken, unable to fathom how she could leave Then behind. When Then learned of this, he immediately went to Lena's mansion to try and convince her. However, Mike and the family surrounded Lena with an electric barrier, preventing him from reaching her. Lena's 17th birthday was approaching, and with it, the possibility of her embracing dark powers. As Then approached the barrier, he felt something strange, but as he touched it, he was able to pass through and move closer to Lena. Mike and his wizard companions were completely shocked when they saw that a human could break through the barrier. Thane, after this, took Lena to his Aunt Emma's house, explaining the situation and asking her for a way to free Lena from the curse. Emma then took them to a secret, advanced area beneath her house, her basement, which was a religious and sacred place. Emma had been entrusted with its care, and she believed that within a certain religious book, the solution to breaking Lena's curse would be found. However, when they read the book, it was completely blank, except for the fact that only Lena had the power to read it. Lena began reading the book, and after some time, words started appearing. She continued reading for several days without stopping, but she couldn't find any solution. One day, though, she discovered something that made her break down in tears. Lena called Thane out of the house and explained to Emma that she had found the solution in the book. It said that to break the curse, Lena would have to sacrifice someone she loved dearly. This devastated Lena, as she couldn't bear to hurt Thane. She didn't know what to do next. Eventually, she decided to spend her remaining moments with Thane, sharing beautiful memories with him in the forest. Their closeness and bond defined their relationship, and Lena realized that she would do anything for him. She only told Thane that she had to perform a ritual to break the curse, asking him to leave for a while. When Thane woke up the next morning, Aunt Emma suggested he invite Lena to dinner. Thane was confused, saying he didn't even know Lena, and how could he possibly invite her for dinner? This is when Emma realized that Lena must have erased all of Thane's memories, including any recollections of her. Lena had done this because she didn't want Thane to be hurt, or to remember anything about their love, as that could jeopardize his safety. As time passed, several months later, we saw how things had changed. Lena's 17th birthday was fast approaching, and her sister Natalie, along with other members of their family, wanted Lena to embrace dark magic and become a powerful dark sorceress. To achieve this, they needed to manipulate her emotions, so Natalie began executing a plan. She used her magic to control one of Thane's friends, making him unknowingly play into her hands. The next day, there was a play at school where everyone had to dress up as old soldiers. Thane and his friend were in one spot, playing around. However, Natalie had already taken control of Thane's friend, and as they pointed fake guns at each other, Natalie had secretly loaded his gun with real bullets. When the gun went off, Thane was shot and fell to the ground, writhing in pain. Lena, upon hearing of this, rushed to Thane's side. This day was also Lena's 17th birthday, and the moment had arrived for her to decide which type of powers she would choose, good or evil. Seeing Thane in such agony, Lena could not bear it, and her anger began to boil. This anger pulled her toward the dark side, and Natalie knew that Lena, in her current state, was too powerful. Terrified, Natalie apologized and fled the scene. Only one family member remained, Mike's wife, who was also a sorceress. Enraged, Lena gathered all her black energy, causing dark clouds to gather in the sky and lightning to strike. As her 17th birthday passed, Lena's powers grew, and she absorbed the energy of the sorceress Sarah, destroying her completely. Lena, still unaware of what had transpired, was shocked when she realized that her curse had ended. Although she now possessed both dark and light powers, her heart remained pure, and she had been able to break the curse. However, as she looked around, she saw that Mike, not Thane, was there. Mike had sacrificed his life, orchestrating everything to ensure that Lena would break her curse. He had even saved Thane, giving his life to free Lena from her dark fate. Lena was devastated by Mike's death, and soon after, he passed away. With the curse lifted, Thane was perfectly fine, and Lena was overjoyed to see him safe. But in the meantime, Thane had lost all memory of Lena due to the spell she had cast on him. He was now excelling in his studies, completely unaware of their past. Lena, though heartbroken, was grateful that Thane was alive and well. She silently promised to keep him safe, no matter what. Thane was incredibly excited about being sent to New York on a scholarship. It seemed like the perfect opportunity for him, but little did he know, Lena was still bound by the spell, and she couldn't stop watching him from afar. Thane had no memory of her or their past, but one day, as Thane was preparing for his journey to New York, he found himself in the library where Lena was reading an important book. His attention was caught by her, and they shared a brief conversation, which left Lena feeling a strange warmth, though she knew he didn't recognize her. After that, Thane set off for New York, but as he traveled, memories of his time with Lena began to resurface. The places he passed reminded him of the moments they had shared, and slowly, his memories came flooding back. He realized who Lena was, and the bond they once had. Filled with urgency, Thane shouted Lena's name, and instead of continuing on to New York, he returned to her, determined to reconnect with her. And so, the story comes to a close with Thane and Lena's reunion, the past and their love rekindled, and the possibility of a future together once again.